Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. Today is Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. I'm Millie Weaver, and here's what's coming up on the news tonight.
Tonight, CNN busted again. The fake news network is suffering from yet another public backlash as they try to punish and blackmail the creator of a popular Trump CNN wrestling gif. Meanwhile, the internet piles on as hashtag CNN blackmail becomes the top trend and Trump CNN memes go viral all across the internet. Then, it's gift packages for Yankees. Kim Jong-un observed his first successful ICBM test the other day and says he is now ready for a showdown with U.S. imperialists. All that plus much more up next on the Infowars Nightly News.
Globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. The key is to be aware of this attack and to fight back against it. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs harvested around the planet and then concentrated for maximum potency. I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by Infowars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. Visit InfowarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from Infowars Life.
Check out these amazing deals at InfowarsStore.com. 25% off BioTrue Selenium, a powerful antioxidant and back in stock Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste. Now 33% off. And while you're there, check out the Total Oral Care Pack, which combines our organic mouthwash with the amazing Super Blue toothpaste. Now 37% off. All available right now at InfowarsStore.com.
I'm Millie Weaver, and I will be taking you guys through the news tonight. Well, the young French president, Emmanuel Macron, has been acting a bit strange these days. He apparently said, "I will govern France like a Roman god." I mean, this is pretty crazy. You know, the establishment media likes to try and say that Trump has lost his marbles and that he's not capable of being the president. Well, why don't we hear any criticism over Emmanuel Macron, who says he will govern like a Roman god, the Roman god of Jupiter, to be specific, who was the Roman king of the gods. So the god of gods. This guy thinks he's a god. It's pretty insane. Apparently, he summoned over 900 politicians from either side of the French parliament to all come down for a rare Congress where he threatened to overrule lawmakers with a referendum if they tried to frustrate the reforms he wished to impose on the legislature. So he's trying to rule with an iron fist. He's saying, do what I say or face the consequences. Apparently, there was even the traditional President's Bastille Day press conference, and Emmanuel Macron said that his thoughts are too complex for journalists and did not participate in that. I mean, this is pretty insane. Yet you see this double standard where the mainstream media will constantly be criticizing Trump over saying ridiculous things when he's not even saying he's a god, like this French president Well, this reminds me of the MSNBC host, Mika Brzezinski, when she said that it's the media's job to control what people think, almost like these mainstream media organizations think that they're these gods that rule over us and should control what we think and what we do. Well, that is what I'm about to get to you guys about right now. CNN has been rocked by backlash after CNN was really upset about a GIF that this GIF creator created, and Trump had retweeted it. Well, if you don't know about this GIF, it was the GIF where Trump, when he was in his WWE days, body slams a person. Well, somebody superimposed the CNN logo over that person, and Trump had retweeted that GIF. CNN was very upset about it. And so what did they do? On 4th of July, they posted a statement saying that they had found the identity of the GIF creator, and that they had talked to the GIF creator and forcefully made him issue an apology and almost threatened that they were going to release his personal information out there on the media so everyone could see him, ridicule him, maybe even threaten him if he didn't go along with issuing an apology and deleting his racist posts. I mean, the tweets are insane. So what happens is the Twitter community goes wild. Of course, Twitter is not going to put up with that. So what did they do? They went ahead, and a tidal wave of memes have flourished on Twitter. I mean, let's take a look at some of these memes here. There are some amazing memes out there on the internet, but one of the things that's interesting here is this guy, his Twitter handle name is Han Beep Hole Solo. I'm not going to say it, okay, guys? But this is the name of this person. He's just a random person out there on the internet like anyone else. So it just really kind of goes to show that CNN actually thinks that they can tell random people on the internet to scare them almost into silence. And this happened on July 4th of all days. CNN did issue a statement, and they even said that CNN reserves the right to publish his identity should any of that change. So if the guy then decides to post something on his Twitter page that they think is racist, well, at the drop of a dime, they could go ahead and release his personal information, which really and truly, I don't think I'd really even care if it were my personal information, because what's anyone going to do? But I understand that people do make death threats on the internet. And if you don't want to be a public figure, we don't know if this guy has a job. We don't know what his situation is with his kids or his family. So I can understand why, that's a big deal. Now, CNN's Andrew Kaczynski said this on Twitter. He said this apology came after CNN identified and reached out to Han Beep Hole Solo. So first he claims that the apology was after he reached out to this GIF creator. Then after Julian Assange goes out and everyone else on Twitter, I mean, it was a tidal wave of people calling out CNN, saying that they were the Carleone news network, or should they be the criminal news network? Julian Assange claims that they had actually committed a crime, some of them which could be felonies. We're talking about federal crimes here. He says that one of these things is a crime violating section 135.60 of the New York Criminal Code for coercion. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but if I were this guy, I'd be thinking about getting an attorney, possibly going after CNN for violating my rights. Well, of course, what happens after this? People go crazy with memes of Trump just destroying CNN, and they are hilarious. There's also memes out there of, depicting CNN looking like a crazy tyrannical dictator or a tank at, mowing down somebody at Tiananmen Square. And so what happens? This meme, this meme war game just completely flourishes. So now what happens? Alex Jones has just announced a $20,000 prize game called The Great CNN Meme War. And if you win this contest, you could win $20,000 in prizes. So get out there, make those memes. They are hilarious. Some of them are even actually worse. So I can see CNN just being so triggered and so upset over these memes. You thought you were going to shut us down, CNN? Well, all you've done is you've created now hundreds and probably even very soon thousands and thousands of GIFs, memes of yourselves getting destroyed by Trump. And some of them are, are of CNN getting destroyed by Keck as well. So go ahead, guys, make sure you submit your GIFs to CNN at Infowars.com. Make sure you include Infowars.com on the picture within the frame of your GIF or your meme in order to win. And go ahead and share those on social media as well and hashtag CNN Meme War. That's the hashtag. Just remember that so that you can actually go on if you don't even want to necessarily compete or you're not necessarily somebody who creates GIFs or creates memes. Just remember that. CNN Meme War hashtag. So you can find them on Twitter because they're pretty entertaining. Well, now, apparently, Kathy Griffin. Now, we remember when she held up that head, the fake severed head of Donald Trump. What she did, I feel like what she did is just completely kind of way farther out there than any of these little silly memes because it was so graphic and almost looked real to where we even had Barron Trump being traumatized. Well, apparently, Secret Service agents had actually interviewed Kathy Griffin for over an hour. According to the New York Magazine and Huffington Post contributing writer Ashar Ali, and apparently Governor Mike Huckabee came out saying that these Secret Service agents apparently needed to detox after only an hour with Kathy Griffin. They just couldn't handle her. They're just like, oh, I need to detox. And he's the one who originally referred to CNN as the Corleone News Network and says, make fun of them with a humorous GIF and they will threaten you on 4th of July, no less. Now, I want to get to something that's a little bit more serious than all of this, as dictatorial and crazed, power hungry that the mainstream media is. We also need to talk about the dictators out there, such as Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un has been going really crazy. We already know the guy's a nut, but he's going too far. Now, North Korea had just tested an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of striking Alaska. So friends and family in Alaska, they could actually be at risk for a nuclear strike from Kim Jong-un. And this guy is saying that he's described this ICBM as a gift to American bastards. That is what he said. Okay. And what's scary about this is that we actually kind of underestimated, the United States, the Pentagon underestimated their missile capabilities. Now, they actually released photos. So let's pull up some of this article here because I want to show you guys these photos. These photos are so creepy, okay? At first I was like, is this real? Well, I don't know. I guess I've never seen an ICBM being launched, but they look pretty real to me, and this is from the test launch. Now, apparently this missile flew off, it jettisoned into the sky and flew off and landed in Japanese waters in the Sea of Japan. And it's just really creepy to think that this could be real. This is like something around the corner. And on Tuesday, the Russian Defense Ministry actually came out saying that it was an intermediate range missile, an IRBM. So Russia's trying to claim that it's not an ICBM, that it is an IRBM, which is a missile that cannot go as far. But many other sources and all the other sources out there, including our own Pentagon, is saying that it is an ICBM. Now, on Tuesday, Moscow and Beijing called on North Korea to freeze its nuclear missile programs. And at the same time, they urged the U.S. and South Korea to cease any type of wargaming in the region. Well, that's very unlikely to happen. And even as it says here, it says, despite the warnings, the U.S. and South Korea have continued and they've launched surface-to-surface tactile missiles into neutral waters. So we're escalating because, North Korea keeps making these threats. But at the same time, North Korea is getting more and more upset about our presence there. But at the same time, the guy's a nut. And what are we going to do? Are we going to allow South Korea to just be on their own and Japan to just be on their own? Are we going to allow these people to literally just get nuked and fried? That's the moral dilemma we're at here. Now, apparently, Japan is preparing. They are holding nationwide evacuation drills where they're actually having, could you imagine if we were having nationwide alarms go off? Everybody, okay, run on, hide underground, prepare for a nuclear attack. That's how real it is for the citizens of Japan. They're preparing. And it says that the people are all having to run into an underground mall in preparation for a potential nuclear strike, which North Korea has made threats against them over and over and over again. And this is scheduled to occur, this month. This is crazy. Now, we've heard a little bit about even how Hawaii could even be a threat for a target as well from North Korea. But what's interesting here is that there was a poll on Twitter, and 65% of Trump supporters said that they would back a military strike on North Korea. Now, what's interesting about this is it had 30,000 votes in total, and 35% said no. The rest said yes. 65% said yes. What's interesting here, though, is that this is a significantly higher percentage of people saying yes than we saw with Syria and the support for a missile strike in Syria. Now, people didn't think that Syria, was justification for a missile strike, but it seems that people kind of understand that what's going on with North Korea and Kim Jong-un is very, very serious. Now, I'm going to touch on this story briefly, but this is Vatican cops have allegedly busted a drug-fueled gay orgy at the home of a cardinal's aide, according to an explosive new report. This is crazy, guys. This is absolutely crazy because this was just not too long after a high-ranking Vatican cardinal was charged with sex offenses that had apparently taken place a long time ago. So now we're seeing this bust on a drug-fueled gay orgy inside the Vatican. It says the Holy Father is enraged since the home inhabited by Cardinal Francesco Coco Palmerio's secretary belongs to the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith, the arm charged with tackling sexual abuse, clerical sexual abuse. So the group that's supposed to be tackling clerical sexual abuse is engaging in the gay orgy. That might be why there's a problem right now within the Vatican and the Catholic Church with all these things. It says the police found the men getting high and getting it on inside this, and that the neighbors had reported it because they saw suspicious activity, people coming in and out, and so on and so forth. It gets crazy. This is just the message here, guys. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. We're seeing that these people who think they're gods, almost like the Pope, like they think they're God chosen, right? They get corrupted by the power, and they think that the rules don't apply to them, and they can just govern with an iron fist, tell people what they can and can't do. We're seeing it more and more. We're seeing it with the mainstream media. We're seeing it with social media giants like Facebook and Twitter, YouTube even censoring us. It's getting out of hand. These people think they're gods and that they have the right to tell us the way we can and can't live our lives. Stay tuned, guys. After this break, we will be back with more reports for the Infowars Nightly News.
We've taken thousands of years of known research and put it together with our own 4 years of seeking and testing to find the very best systems that God gave us through Mother Nature to detoxify the body. That's why I'm introducing Z-Shield, Toxic Metal and Chemical Defense Support. It's made in the USA. It's filled with known compounds from nature that are absolutely associated with detoxifying the body, and it supports the InfoWar. It is a classical 360 win. Our formula at InfoWarsLife.com is, quite frankly, simple. We go out and look at the recognized research, and we take it to the next level of quality, of purity, and of strength. Because this is what I personally use for myself and my family. We've gone through 5 or 6 different permutations in the last 4 years since we launched Infowars Live to actually come up with this. This is the formula that I personally have been taking for over a year, and now we believe we have come as close to perfection when it comes to a detoxifier as you can possibly get. If you're not mitigating the pesticides, the heavy metals, the chemicals, if you're not trying to purify your water, if you're not trying to take products like Z-Shield that are full of known concentrated compounds that'll purify our cells and our bodies, you're crazy. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, and you owe it to the future of this country and the world that patriots stay as healthy and as clean and as focused as you can be, because we need you, the remnant of America, to reignite those brush fires to the next level and to be healthy and as focused as you can be. Because if you're sick, if you're over there on the sidelines and not in the fight, you're basically giving in to the New World Order. Thanks to your support and your prayers, together, we're changing the world. Now it's time to change our bodies with Z-Shield at InfoWarsLive.com.
I want to tell you about some of the products at InfoWarsStore.com. We are under constant attack. You know it by now from the mainstream media. They're trying to attack us on every level. Now with the YouTube scandal, they're demonetizing our channels, which again takes a huge chunk out of our income, which is why we always appreciate and rely on you getting the products, because that's how we stay afloat. They can't get to us that way. They can't pressure you to not buy the products. They don't have that power. And that's why you're the key to this entire operation. We have Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste, bubblegum flavor just arrived at InfoWarsStore.com. This is by listener request. Bubblegum flavored Super Blue toothpaste now available at InfoWarsStore.com in limited supply. Again, if you're not using fluoride-free toothpaste by now, you're absolutely insane. Harvard studies, it reduces IQ, it causes bone cancer. It's not great, let's just put it that way. And I've been using it for about, what, 15 years now? So you're going to buy it anyway. Why not buy it from us? It's in limited supply, but it is available at InfoWarsStore.com with the new bubblegum flavor. Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste, and it supports this network, which is under constant demonization and attack, because we don't take big fat checks from George Soros. We don't get put on extremist lists, even though they want us to. That's how they're taking away the YouTube money. That's why we need your support more than ever, because we're not funded by giant corporations who are now pulling the plug on YouTube as they move it into a TV thing, a Netflix model, to drown out independent voices. So support us by getting the products at InfoWarsStore.com.
I'm now joined by Leanne McAdoo, and we are going to discuss the beginning of the Great Meme War. Now, Leanne, I don't know if you think that the meme war has just started or what you think was the beginning of the Great Meme War. You know that I've been obsessed with these memes for a long time, ever since the election, even before the election in November. And I've been putting out memes. Infowars has been putting out memes. But then President Trump puts out a meme of himself beating down CNN in a wrestling match. And then all of a sudden CNN responds. They dox the person who they think may have been the originator. And it's like the Great Meme War is upon us. The Great Meme War has launched. What do you think about the meme war?
It has begun. You're absolutely right. I mean, people say that memes are what got Trump into the presidency, into the White House. So we know that the war itself had begun, but now the great meme war is upon us. And I just can't believe that CNN can sit there and say that, you know, Trump can't handle a little bullying by some millionaire TV host. He dares respond to that, but then CNN responds in kind by targeting a private citizen, and then, of course, backtracking on that, saying, well, you're taking it out of context. Just like we took Kathy Griffin's beheading of the president. We took it out of context. It was art.
Well, and I like the point that you made earlier on the Alex Jones show when you said, what does it say about CNN, how they respond to this meme, which was pretty lighthearted, I mean, honestly, compared to what Kathy Griffin did say. But Why didn't they have this response for the memes that were put out against Hillary Clinton? Why didn't they have this response for the memes that have been put out against Maxine Waters? Why all of a sudden was CNN triggered by this meme? It's like, what is the difference now? It's not the first meme that's gone against CNN.
Right. And why did they think that this would be the big story that the American people want to hear about? Who this private person is that made this GIF on Reddit, which some people are saying now it's not even being attributed to him, could have been some anonymous person in Mexico. But now we might see a ton of Redditors coming out and claiming that they were the ones who originated this GIF. Who even knows? But the American people don't care about that. And frankly, not on Independence Day. CNN goes and tries to attack free speech on July 4th. You know, this will be remembered. CNN goes attacking private citizens for creating GIFs that they dare not like. We have now entered a gulag, basically. That's what CNN has turned into.
Yeah, and people are comparing him to the North Korean regime, trying to intimidate people out of their free speech. And it's amazing. Another example of President Trump tweeting at his enemy and then his enemy basically tricking himself into oblivion. Here's one of the memes that was created that just shows CNN basically admitting that they were played by President Trump.
How could I be so stupid? You played me. You played me. Wait a minute. All of this is a well-orchestrated plan.
Exactly. It's a well-orchestrated trap. All President Trump has to do is send out a little tweet about Mika Brzezinski, bleeding face, send out a little tweet about CNN getting smashed in a wrestling match by President Trump, and they just go into a tizzy, Leanne. They embarrass themselves.
Well, again, we've got a story up on Infowars.com right now, the same exact thing where Trump tweets that the media will soon be forced to cover the strong economy. And NBC's Katie Tur says on the air, what did he mean by forced? What do you mean he's going to force us to report on the strong economy? So there again, you played yourself. Trump got you to play yourself. And of course, we the people who get it, who aren't total idiots up in our ivory towers there in mainstream media land, we get it that the economy is recovering so strongly, the media will be forced to do their job rather than attacking Trump. But then the media goes and plays himself again, trying to convince the American people that Trump is a would-be dictator.
Well, I had to go back and I was looking at Chris Cuomo of CNN's tweets because there were a couple tweets that he'd actually deleted in response to the President Trump tweet of CNN getting beat up in the wrestling ring. And it was actually amazing. Even Chris Cuomo, I was surprised to say and see this, even Chris Cuomo had retweeted President Trump when he's tweeting stuff about the economy getting back, when he's tweeting stuff about NASDAQ reaching records, you know, those stuff that you think all Americans would be behind. So it's like, wait a second, if you can see that President Trump has an American first agenda, if you can see how his policies are actually helping America, why are you so against him? Why are you so mad at him? Why are you hating on him all day long? And there's Chris Cuomo. Obviously, he deleted a tweet threatening the Reddit user. But what do you think that is, Leanne? Why would they sit here out of one side of their mouth admitting that, yeah, okay, Trump is helping the economy? They won't report that on CNN. But then on the other side of the mouth, they'll say, yeah, but he's a Russian agent.
Exactly. Well, and also, too, why don't they understand with all of this bashing of President Trump? First of all, the American people are tired of it. Majority of people don't want to hear it. But it is going to come back to go against their integrity, their journalistic integrity. Are they giving us the real news? And a lot of people aren't on Twitter. So Chris Cuomo can retweet a lot of this information, but your average person isn't going to be seeing that he's talking about the strong economy and this and that, being in support of Trump's America First agenda on Twitter. It's what makes it to the television set. And I can say this now, being here in Florida, my grandmother, for as one example, she watches the news channels all day long. That's all she gets.
Yeah,
She's
that's
got it
their
on
main
ABC,
demographic.
CNN. That's it. So that's what they know is the people, and these are the older people who vote. They vote strongly. So that's who they're targeting. These people who are watching the mainstream media, that's still their target audience. They know that those are the people that they need to convince that Trump is colluding with Russia. And like I mentioned to Alex earlier, you know, it would have been a huge story if K-File had exposed the fact that this meme maker, this gifster, was actually a Russian agent. But it's not. It turns out he's just some guy who's now afraid that if he is indeed doxxed, it's going to ruin his life and ruin his family's life. So now I hear there's actually going to be some protests outside of Andrew, this journalist's home, this writer for CNN. So you're seeing these tables kind of turn where that's the type of thing that you want to protect a private citizen from, that kind of backlash. If you're going to dox them and expose them to people who might show up at his house, threaten his job, call his work. Now this reporter is actually going to be experiencing a little bit of that. So it's interesting to see. I'm not saying I'm for or against that type of action being taken, but this is what.
But yeah, what's good for the goose? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's just an old saying that's gone around through time. And exactly, why doesn't CNN come after me for the memes that I've put out against them? Now, I'm not asking CNN to. I'm not asking CNN to dox Rob Dew or I or Walker, who's made some of the great memes that we've put out. He's responsible for a lot of these memes we're putting out, Walker Anders in our graphics department here. But it's just hilarious to me that they want to go. It's like they wanted to go after the anonymous one. They wanted to go after the one that they really couldn't prove whether it was or wasn't, just to intimidate the little guy, intimidate everybody else into thinking, oh my gosh, I better not do this. Nobody's buying it. As you've seen, the great meme war has officially begun. You've seen more memes today coming out about Trump smashing CNN, whether it be on a video game, a wrestling ring, a boxing ring, a classic movie, what have you. You've seen it. Yeah, ice hockey, exactly. Everybody's seen it. Now, Leanne, I told you that there was a story. I was going to tell you before we came on, but I just thought I'd tell you now to get your raw reaction from this. So despite all of the memes that we've seen today, you've seen some of them here being flashed during this broadcast, this story from the Federalist was the coup de grace. It was the cherry on top. It was so perfect for me, I almost fell out of my chair. From the Federalist, here's the headline. CNN just published a fake quote from Abraham Lincoln. It was perfect timing, Leanne. After everything that happened, CNN puts out a fake Abraham Lincoln quote. Now, just to play the devil's advocate in CNN's favor, this is a quote that has been widely, talked about throughout time of how he said it, or was he the original quote? But just to see that, it's just CNN is just completely failing, Leanne.
Well, true. Give us the facts, and then the country will be safe. Indeed, That would be true, but that's not what's happening. I think it's really funny, too, that CNN has tried to really push back against Donald Trump Jr., who tweeted out some information that people were first talking about, that this Redditor was maybe a 15-year-old boy. And then they're really pushing back saying, no, he wasn't. He was a middle-aged man, as if that makes it better. A lot of people who are on the internet engaging in the trolling and the
and again, and I think that's why they put it as an anonymous person so it could be twisted, it could be spun, and then nobody could actually know the truth, because that's what CNN does. They don't want you to know the facts. Thanks, Leanne.
Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. Infowars Life Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by Infowars Life is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of Infowars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're finding the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out. We have the new product at InfoWarsLife.com, BioTrue Selenium.
We've had so many requests over the years for selenium, and just recently, we were able to source a certified organic, bioavailable selenium from mustard seed extract. When you take selenium in the body, it actually benefits the detoxification systems in your body. It helps balance the thyroid gland. It helps detoxify.
Selenium is another one of those absolute must-haves.
The highest concentration of selenium is in the thyroid gland, but it's actually used all over the body. As a matter of fact, there's 25 genes in the body that are directly dependent upon selenium. So it really is a all-around nutrient that everybody really needs.
I'm taking it now every day. This is so key. BioTrue Selenium is the product, the best selenium that we could bring you. We believe it's the best out there at a very, very low price. Exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. We're selling a product, DNA Force, that is the very best nutraceutical that we can produce. Dr. Group, you took years for you to develop DNA Force for us.
It's been something that I've been working on for a long time, Alex, because I think it's very, very important. What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
We chose the PQQ because it has over 175 different clinical trials. It's one of the most effective substances in the world. It works like an antioxidant. It works to repair nerve growth factor.
So this is a formula to deliver the maximum amount. It's in powder form.
We have so many 5-star reviews. I take this. This is the product that I take.
InfoWarsLife.com, and the profit we make, we fight the globals. We fight the New World Order. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Well, Twitter was triggered yesterday on the 4th of July by the tweeting of the Declaration of Independence. And coming up, we're going to tell you about the founding father of Facebook, or I guess we should call it Fakebook, Mark Zuckerberg, who put out kind of a declaration of dependence on the government. But let's take a look first at the tweeting of the Declaration of Independence that got so many people so upset. It was done by, of all people, NPR. NPR for the last 29 years has had hosts, reporters, and commentators read the Declaration of Independence on air on the 4th of July. They decided yesterday for the first time that they would tweet it out, I guess 140 characters at a time. Actually, it's one phrase at a time. And this is some of the feedback they got. NPR is calling for a revolution. Interesting way to condone violence while trying to sound patriotic. You know, let's stop there for a second. When I was with the Libertarian Party, we had we would all talk with each other and say, you know, one of the sure ways to make people think that you're dangerous and to get the government to start following you and listening to your emails is to just quote the founding fathers. That makes you sound like a very dangerous person. Those guys were dangerous. They were dangerous because they took liberty seriously. And we'll be dangerous if we take it seriously as well. We'll be dangerous because we will have a revolution, hopefully a peaceful one. But we are not going to be given our liberty. But they said, hey, you're condoning violence. Well, actually, violence had already begun. It was the British who had begun it on April 19th, and that was one of the reasons why they put together this Declaration of Independence on July the 4th. Again, somebody else said, literally, no one is going to read 5,000 tweets about this trash. NPR listener thinks the Declaration of Independence is trash. Another one says, NPR, this is why you're going to get defunded. Well, let's hope they get defunded, but not for putting out the Declaration of Independence. Let's take a look at a couple of these other tweets that we have here. This is in response to the phrase, all men are created equal. Oh, that triggered them pretty bad because they talked about men. I guess they should have something like all LGBTQs are created equal. Not so much white men, especially white men. Anyway, one person says, when I meet Thomas Jefferson, I'm going to compel him to include women in the sequel. And another person said the original author forgot to place white in between all and men. That's what they thought. That's what their actions showed. So there you go. Triggered the liberals. Then going on to the part, the next phrase, endowed by their creator with inalienable rights. Oh, there's a problem there because these are people who don't really like the idea that we have a creator or that the government doesn't give us our rights. So this person here says their creator can be interpreted as God, but it can also mean their parents. Oh, really? Maybe not. Maybe not if the parents want to have an experimental treatment under single payer, just like we see with Charlie Gard. They're not going to let him go get independent experimental patients. They're not even, after they determine the day and the manner of his death, they're not even going to allow them to have the freedom to go home to die, even if they're willing to pay for it. So I don't know that the parents give us our inalienable rights. That certainly is not the case for most NPR listeners. They would not give parents the freedom to choose whether or not their children are going to be vaccinated or how their children are going to be educated. They want to make sure that the government does the educating. Let's take a look at another one of these. GOP, this includes health care as a right. And again, this is an important thing to understand the difference between what liberals and libertarians or conservatives mean by rights. See, the liberals look at rights as free stuff. We're looking at it as freedom. They call it positive rights. They're positive that they have a right to get something from you. We're saying we have a right to be left alone. And that was the way that the founders talked about this. And of course, it was interesting to see that Obama, we had clips of Obama before he became president talking about the difference between these different forms of rights. And of course, rejecting the idea of rights as put out by the founders of this country and then pushing for entitlement programs to say, I'm entitled to you providing this for me for free or to you being paid because I'll steal the money from somebody else to have you paid for this. Then another one from somebody who has the handle actress and activist. She said, the most important of these is life. And without your health, your liberty and your pursuit of happiness are severely impaired. I wonder if she is pro-life. But we did have some people who got it. Some of them came back and said, note that it is creator, not rights selectively granted by government. That's what we keep trying to explain to people. Also note, they said, cell phones, Wi-Fi, and Cadillac healthcare are also not your rights. Again, this is the difference in the way liberals, conservatives, and libertarians understand rights. Another one says, declaration doesn't have any force of law. She pushes back. She says, our laws begin with the Constitution, and we can have universal health care if we choose to. See, this is the living document idea of the rule of law, and the idea that with a democracy, we can do whatever we want to. Forget about this republic idea. Forget about the Bill of Rights, any of that stuff. And one person corrects that and says, actually, the Constitution says any powers not specifically granted to the feds belong to the states and citizens. So, no, constitutionally, you can't have universal health care, but that's what they're pushing for if this all goes down the drain and we don't get a repeal of Obamacare and it continues to fail because it is unsustainable. But speaking of unsustainable, we have Mark Zuckerberg, again, defending the government giving people free money. He went to Alaska, and as he came back from Alaska, he wrote yet another blog post defending the idea of establishing a form of universal basic income in the United States. Zuckerberg said he supported Alaska's permanent fund dividend. This is something that takes money from the state's oil, which they never put into private hands. They've kept the dividends from that, and then they turn it out each year. They decide how much they're going to pay. This last year, it was just over $1,000. And he had this wonderful insight. He said, organizations think profoundly differently when they're profitable than when they're in debt. Oh, you think so? Really? He says when you're losing money, your mentality is about survival. But when you're profitable, you're confident about your future and you look for opportunities to invest and to grow further. Well, that's the issue, isn't it? And we just had Alaska go up to this last Friday without a budget because they couldn't decide what they were going to do with a shortfall. See, the problem is this. Even though Alaska has got vast reserves and resources and a lot of money that they put into this fund from prior years, we've now had plummeting oil prices as well as declining production in Alaska, and that's creating something of a problem. Their latest production has been 500 million barrels per day in 2014 from a peak of more than 2 million barrels per day in the late 1980s. So it's only a quarter of what it was in the late 1980s. And they said in order for them to have the kind of income from this oil that will balance their state budget, they're going to have $110 a barrel oil. That's not happening with the other sources of oil that we have. And so their dividend last year, as I said, was just over $1,000. In 2015, it was $2,000. So it went down by over 50% in just 1 year. So that's the sort of thing that Mark Zuckerberg doesn't realize, that with socialism, you eventually run out of other people's money. And the problem with universal basic income is that it does create dependency. It doesn't make you more engaged. It creates dependency. It was very well documented by Charles Murray when he talked about entitlements and welfare. The name of the book was Losing Ground. And it was the basis for massive welfare reform during the Reagan administration. But now that same economist who puts himself out there as a libertarian is pushing the idea of universal basic income. It is population control, folks, and they really know it. Now let's talk about the other Declaration of Independence that we need, and that is one of a independence from Obamacare. Is there anybody in Congress that will give us a Declaration of Independence from Obamacare? Ted Cruz has put out a plan that they say will be the key to unlocking health care votes. They say that he's put in a provision that would allow insurers to sell plans that do not comply with the Obamacare insurance regulations, so long as they also sell plans that comply with those rules. Cruz says giving insurers a path around the regulations should allow them to offer some plans at a lower cost. Now, this is similar to the MacArthur Amendment that was in the House that would allow states to apply for waivers. Why are we giving so much power to Washington over our health care that we dictate this to the extent that states have to apply for waivers? This is exactly the opposite of our Constitution, if any of these people would read this. Now, we have to have repeal. We can't have the idea that we're going to be begging to opt out of these mandates so that we have to buy whatever the insurance companies or the states or the federal governments mandate to us. You know, we have some inalienable rights, and among those are life and the liberty to pursue our health care. That is a key right that we need to take a look at. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond being prepared. Our bodies absolutely must have the good halogen iodine or we will die. And you look at all of the thyroid problems and all the people that don't have energy and that have all sorts of hormone problems. And from my research and a lot of just mainline research, it leads back to iodine over and over and over again. It's as important as vitamin C. If you don't get iodine, you die. But most people are just deficient, so they're low energy, they're sick. You got to have iodine in your body so that your body can produce the hormones you need. It is the base to so many things. And since I got into iodine 4 years ago, we've helped change the entire paradigm by developing and bringing to the public deep earth crystals from 7,000 to 12,000 feet of the purest iodine available. Other iodine comes from the ocean or from other byproducts of chemical facilities, and it's tainted. It's bound. It's not absorbable. I tried it. And I had incredible effects even with dirty iodine because the body needs it. When you don't have iodine, it absorbs the chlorine, the fluoride, and all these other bad halogens. Do yourself and your family a favor and check out the importance of iodine for yourself. I think you're going to be blown away. And whatever you do, support the broadcast and get a bottle of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Also consult your physician because if you've been deficient in it or have other issues, it can have some dramatic effects. As for me and most folks I talk to, it's been a game changer in the positive column, but still consult your physician because iodine is no joke. It's a key building block of the body. And if you haven't had it for a long time and suddenly have it, some folks say they've experienced things like a detoxing effect and things like that. You've got to have vitamin C. You've got to have iodine to live. You've got to have water to live. Iodine is key. You must have it, but consult your physician first before you get powerful Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2 at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll free. We can answer your questions, 888-253-3139.
Well, the Democrats and the Never Trump movement have been dealt nothing but losses since the election of Donald Trump, and they don't know what to do. They've tried everything, but they keep losing. They tried throwing money at the problem. They tried throwing fake news at the problem. Nothing is working. So now they're resisting, they're relaunching, they're remarching, they're rechanting. They're doing everything they can to try to figure out what to do to finally get a victory that has been such a distant memory for them. Well, now people out of Silicon Valley have a new idea, and they are going to start a campaign called Winning the Future. Two Silicon Valley billionaires want to reinvent the Democrat Party with a new project called WTF. Well, definitely WTF, but not the acronym that they're using. They're calling it Win the Future, starting as a people's lobby where people can vote on policy topics that are important to them, like making engineering degrees free for everyone. So Mark Pincus and Reid Hoffman are the two men responsible for starting the WTF campaign, another attempt by the Democrats to try to find any victories they possibly can since the election of Trump. They even have to call it Win the Future, assuming that they're going to win anything at all. Of course, if they stick to the path that they're on of hating Trump and spreading fake news, they will not win the future. In fact, they will continue to lose the future. And all signs point to the Democrats doing exactly that as we move forward. For example, you think that this is going to work for the Democrats? Democrats, 2018. I mean, have you seen the other guys? This is their new bumper sticker. The DCCC asked for input on new sticker slogans, and Twitter hilariously obliges. Yeah, because everything the Democrats do ends up coming back on them. That's the Streisand effect. Just look at CNN and what has happened since they declared war on the Trump meme. So now Democrats are asking for people on Twitter, how do you like our new logo, Democrats 2018? Have you seen the other guys? Of course, the joke is on them because people have seen them and are ditching their party. People have seen the Democrats and won't vote for them anymore. That's the irony of this. And Maxine Waters, she's part of the problem, but she can't even learn how to shut her big mouth. Maxine Waters is now calling out Ben Carson, saying Ben Carson doesn't care about people in public housing. That's unbelievable. Here's what Waters said while she was at the Essence Festival in New Orleans, putting out the essence of idiocracy. Carson knows nothing about the mission of HUD, the Housing Urban Development. He doesn't care about people in public housing. He believes that if you are poor, it is your own fault. And he doesn't know the difference between an immigrant and a slave. Wow. Maxine Waters. Now, she's also said that she will take on Ben Carson. Could you imagine? I would love, oh my gosh. In fact, I would donate to see this happen. Maxine Waters could actually really fill the coffers of her campaign donation box if she said, I will do a debate with Ben Carson if we raise how much? Say $500,000, $1 million. Yes, Maxine Waters says, if Ben Carson thinks I'm going to give him a pass, I'm going to take his ass apart. Hold on, I'm going to take his ass apart. That's what Maxine Waters sounds like now. So yes, Maxine, please, please debate Ben Carson. I would love to see you debate Ben Carson. And then when Ben Carson is done mopping the arena with you, maybe then you can go on to debate Omar Navarro, who's running against you for office. Of course, she's not going to debate either one of those figures because she knows she doesn't stand a chance. So Democrats, you might want to tell Maxine Waters to shut up if you want to have any victories in the future. Now, the amazing thing about the Democrats and their constituents is that they refuse to live in reality. They refuse to present facts when it comes to debating policy. Most of the time, they won't even debate policy. It's just all about identity. But you just had somebody, Trent Franks from Arizona, go on Fox News and talk about what he thinks is the problem right now that the Democrats are having when debating health care.
She said literally the only issue she's hearing about is health care. What about you? Well, we're hearing about it a lot. You know, there's a lot of misinformation there saying, you know, that this will throw a lot of people off of health care. Ironically, Medicaid is their focus, and we spend about a combined amount of about $380 billion on Medicaid now, and under the Republican
Medicaid
plan, we'll be spending $500 billion over a period of 10 years. In other words, it will slowly escalate. So I don't know how in the world they call that a cut, but unfortunately,
and Obama cut
that's the
Medicaid.
media environment in which we live, and it has a way of really whipping up a lot of folks that really believe some of the fallacies that are told.
How do you think they're
and
so
then they
good
go
at
out and shoot
communicating
Steve Scalise?
what at best case you would call misinformation?
fake
Because a
news.
number of these groups on the left have said we've got to use this recess. They point to the fact that the bill was delayed on the Senate
give us
side,
time
saying
off
what
from
we're
work.
doing is working. All of this
'Cause we
pushback.
need to do work.
But when they say cut, and we know the numbers are maybe less than you thought you were going to get, but still increasing, where does the truth get lost in there?
Well, I tell you, that is the greatest challenge in our republic right now, is that we no longer invite truth to the debate. It's not considered on the part of the left a bad tactic to say something that isn't true. They don't hold themselves constrained to the truth, which makes it very difficult to debate them, because while you're trying to put out the fires, the truth kind of gets lost in the morass. And I'm just hoping that people will pay attention to the facts, and if they do, they will see that Obamacare is absolutely imploding. I mean, it's the public policy equivalent of the Hindenburg at this point. And they'll know that we need to do something different, and we're trying so hard to bring back market forces to affect this innovation that we so desperately need in healthcare.
It just amazes me because he's so accurate. Whenever you try to talk to someone who defends Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act, and you present to them facts like premiums are rising, you present to them facts like a lot of states or counties only have 1 or 2 providers now, it's turned into monopoly care, it's going broke, it's failing, they don't care. They don't want to hear it. They just want you to pay for their abortion. They just think that free health care for the poor is something that can just magically happen and grow out of the ground if they just believe it. I just believe it. People can have free health care. No, that's not how it works. So this is the day and age that we've entered where you would think that both sides want to debate on fact, just debate on policy and what works best, but that's not the case now. You have one side that debates for falsity and fake news, and another side that's just fighting for a breath of fresh air, bringing facts to the table in what has been such a ceremoniously false government for decades now. It really is quite a wind of change that we've seen since the Trump administration has taken office. Now, back to CNN for a second. I find these next stories pretty funny. South Park creator, they're gonna lay off the Trump jokes in their upcoming season because they don't want to become like CNN. We fell into the same trap that Saturday Night Live fell into. Now, this is amazing to me. I am a fan of South Park. I like to watch South Park. And they went pretty hard on President Trump in their last season, but I thought it was fair. I found their jokes towards Trump to be fair. It was funny. I even laughed at it. It didn't seem to be in a really negative, nasty light like we've seen from so much. But here's South Park even seeing that, you know what, these Trump jokes are becoming so watered down and so absurd that even if it was funny for us, people are just not going to want to watch it. They're sick of it. I'm sick of it. So we're just going to cut that out altogether. So I found that funny. So I guess South Park won't be joking about President Trump. I thought it was funny, but the left ruins comedy as usual. And then Lindsay Lohan, this is actually big news, folks. It looks like Lindsay Lohan is finally off of drugs, and she has now called people out for attacking President Trump and his family, saying, stop bullying him. It's our president. He just wants to make America great again. It's time to trust him. So, wow, Lindsay Lohan finally off drugs. You got to like that, folks. And she wants to make America great again. How dare she, though? But that's what probably would happen when some of these drugged out pillhead liberals cut the drugs. You know, we've got a list here of CNN's advertisers, and what we're actually going to have to do here is we're going to have to put out a more complete list because we're calling for the boycott of CNN now. We're going to have to put out a more complete list at Infowars.com. But here's a beginner's list at IntelligentFroglegs.com, maybe a Pepe creation. But nonetheless, we're going to have to put out a full list. It's time to boycott CNN. Support this broadcast, InfoWarsStore.com, and we will overtake CNN, not as fake news, but real news.
I am very proud to announce the introduction of the highest quality InfoWars Biome Defense probiotic. We wanted to come out with the largest spectrum of high-quality, known probiotics that have been proven to improve overall digestion and health and detoxification in the body. Biome Defense is an exclusive blend of 50 billion live and active cultures from over 23 different probiotic strains that are known to support digestion and intestinal function. Our researchers are confident that we have been able to develop what will be the leading probiotic on the market. Secure your Biome Defense in ultra strength or regular strength at InfoWarsLife.com today and get started supporting your digestive system naturally. We've been testing this formula for years, but this is the limited first run to the public, so please take advantage of it today. Support your own health and support the InfoWar.
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. Today is Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. I'm Millie Weaver, and here's what's coming up on the news tonight.
Tonight, CNN busted again. The fake news network is suffering from yet another public backlash as they try to punish and blackmail the creator of a popular Trump CNN wrestling gif. Meanwhile, the internet piles on as hashtag CNN blackmail becomes the top trend and Trump CNN memes go viral all across the internet. Then, it's gift packages for Yankees. Kim Jong-un observed his first successful ICBM test the other day and says he is now ready for a showdown with U.S. imperialists. All that plus much more up next on the Infowars Nightly News.
The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. The key is to be aware of this attack and to fight back against it. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs harvested around the planet and then concentrated for maximum potency. I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by Infowars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from Infowars Life.
Check out these amazing deals at InfoWarsStore.com. 25% off BioTrue Selenium, a powerful antioxidant and back in stock Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste. Now 33% off. And while you're there, check out the Total Oral Care Pack, which combines our organic mouthwash with the amazing Super Blue toothpaste. Now 37% off. All available right now at InfoWarsStore.com.
I'm Millie Weaver, and I will be taking you guys through the news tonight. Well, the young French president, Emmanuel Macron, has been acting a bit strange these days. He apparently said, "I will govern France like a Roman god." I mean, this is pretty crazy. You know, the establishment media likes to try and say that Trump has lost his marbles and that he's not capable of being the president. Well, why don't we hear any criticism over Emmanuel Macron, who says he will govern like a Roman god, the Roman god of Jupiter, to be specific, who was the Roman king of the gods. So the god of gods. This guy thinks he's a god. It's pretty insane. Apparently, he summoned over 900 politicians from either side of the French parliament to all come down for a rare Congress where he threatened to overrule lawmakers with a referendum if they tried to frustrate the reforms he wished to impose on the legislature. So he's trying to rule with an iron fist. He's saying, do what I say or face the consequences. Apparently, there was even the traditional President's Bastille Day press conference, and Emmanuel Macron